GroupRaise, Houston, Texas. GroupRaise helps groups of people make reservations at restaurants willing to donate a percentage of sales to charity. Welcome, Devin Baptiste. GroupRaise.
Appreciate it.
Oops. This head of hair on this guy, for Christ's sake. You could have wore a hat or something.
We can switch anytime you want to, anytime you want. Hi, my name is Devin Baptiste, and I'm the founder and CEO of GroupRaise. We like to think of GroupRaise as the most delicious way to change the world. But what we're doing underneath that is we're helping restaurants fill their slow and undercapitalized times with an average of 55 customers. We do this with charitable organizers, moms, sorority girls, cancer survivors, folks like that. They come to our site and they book a date with one of our restaurant partners. They then invite all their friends and social connections out to eat with them, have a really fun meal, and at the end of the night, the restaurant donates a percentage of the sales back to a charitable cause. We take pages like this and we turn them into this, a packed restaurant. Our restaurant customers love the tangible nature of our product and watching the sales come in while they see people falling in love with their brand. We really learned how to sell to restaurants in July of 2015. We had about 500 restaurant customers at the time, and today we're working with just over 10,000 restaurants in over 150 cities, and we're just getting started. This is a couple of the enterprise brands that we work with that account for about half of our locations, and it's one of the biggest and growing parts of the business, and we're super excited to continue to grow it. Our vision is to reach 1 million people eating out every day in support of a cause. And in order to do this, we're building a network of 150,000 restaurants around the world who will be on our platform. And when we do that, we'll be able to drive them over $5 billion in revenue. We'll be able to donate back more than $1 billion into community organizations all around the world and bring in more than $350 million directly to our business that we want to bring and build into a publicly traded company, hopefully built right here in Buffalo. These are some of the amazing capital partners we've been blessed to work with. We've raised just over $2 million for the business, and we're excited here in Buffalo to start our customer success team, raise our Series A, and expand to Canada, our first international market. This is the team behind GroupRaise, myself, Kevin, Paul, and Sean. I think the best thing to know about us is we've taken this simple idea and we've turned it into a national brand, and we want to build it into a global one, again, right here in Buffalo. Thank you.
Okay. Who's going to kick it off? Heidi, let's go.
Devin, your hair's a little different than your picture.
You know, life.
It's got to keep coming up.
But Paul has the great mustache. Did you see that?
You got the roots thing going.
Yeah, we...
Tell us how the whole thing started. What was the impetus for the idea?
Yeah, so I was in a band that used to gig around the city of Houston. And so I got to know a bunch of restaurant owners, bar owners. They became my friends, my mentors. And I would just talk to them about their problems. And I was talking to one of the owners, and he said to me, like, he knew that there were tons of community organizations all around, but he didn't know how to connect with them. And my background, I'm an Eagle Scout. I was in the marching band, was really civically involved, and I felt like I could get a group in to come into the restaurant. And I called an organization I knew and I said, hey, would you guys want to come? I think this restaurant will donate 20% back. And they said, sure. And I remember he thought maybe 30 people would come to the restaurant, and 300 people came. And I saw the look of delight on his face with all these people there, and I saw a bunch of people eating, having fun, enjoying each other, and I thought, you know what, I wonder if there are many communities that look like this, where you have restaurant owners who have these slow times and they want to engage community and grow their business by giving back. And then you have these other people who are always meeting in a social environment, looking for venues, looking for spaces, and want to support causes. And flash forward 150 cities later, we see that there is that, and we actually think this can be a global phenomenon that we're really excited about.
Okay, next, Denmark, please.
First of all, congratulations on your progress and success. Want to just ask you a couple quick questions. It seems like what you're doing is you're providing the restaurants the ability to not only fill their slow times, but to be socially connected. But by doing that, that means that you're probably dependent upon people to actually set up these events. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so how do you find the people that you need to set up these events?
Yeah. So when we look for charitable organizers, the very first thing we actually do is we always start with communities where we predict there's going to be booking behavior. So a really good example would be like universities. So if we look at like the University of Buffalo, we know that there are probably about 650 student organizations there, all needing social activities and upcoming. And so we want to put restaurants in like a 1-mile radius of that center of demand. And so when we identify that latent demand, which is the folks who need to book, we try to put our supply in a very, very close radius. And a lot of the technology we've built is actually to predict the specific distance that a restaurant is a good option for an organization. And so our first job is to find those groups, and then we add the supply, and then we say, hey, by the way, 1 block away from you on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m., you can host events. And so going back and forth between supply and demand is really how we solve that problem.
Good, let's keep the questions coming.
Yeah. My question is actually around the target profile of the restaurant, because I love, like, who do you champion? Because it seems the corporate chains can afford to buy blocks, but what about the smaller restaurant that probably needs some yield management for their business?
Yeah, most definitely. So we actually started with a concept called Mission Burrito, which is in Houston, Texas. So it's now called Uberito for you out there, Mission Burrito. I'm sure you're there. Really cool local brand. We're really passionate about local business and seeing them be successful. And their realization was that they wanted to get ahead by doing community. And so we were pretty much the only avenue that they had to really systemize that. And really the larger enterprise brands started coming to us when they recognized that they were missing out in the marketplace because we had so many local brands. And so now the business is half and half. About 5,000 of the locations are independent restaurants that are not involved in a chain, that are just local businesses. And the other half are represented inside the enterprise. And it's important for us as an identity to continue that ratio and to make sure that we're helping both types of operators.
We're going to have to end it there. Good job.
Thank you.